Hello. Welcome on back to my channel. I hope you're having a fabulous Wednesday. I know here in the house of Spencer, the buttons are popping, the music is flowing, and I'm cooking up something real good for you. I've been reading a lot of the comments you guys have been leaving me lately, and one of the top requests that I've been getting is to show you how I contour for round face shapes. Now, last week with the video I posted on my YouTube channel, a fellow YouTuber by the name of Jalisa recreated the look, posted it on her channel, I checked it out, and I fell in love. So naturally, I reached out to her, surprised her with a DM, and asked if she wanted to be my model today. So that's what led us to coming up with this look right here. If you want to learn how I created this step by step, then keep on watching. To start, I'm using the Rose Deep Hydration Face Cream from Fresh to prep the skin, and I'm applying it to the face with a damp beauty blender. I like using the same beauty blender throughout the whole application because I like the way the blender applies the foundation when it has a bit of that moisturizer left in it, you know what I mean? I also bring the moisturizer down the neck and even the shoulders for a little glow. For foundation, I'm using the Luminous foundation from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and this is in the shade 450C. I'll include this along with all the other products I'm using today down in the description box. But I've been using this foundation for a little while now. I enjoy it because it really is a luminous foundation that doesn't look cakey, and it's versatile. You can sheer it out for a natural finish if that's something that you like, or you can build it up to get a full coverage look. I also really love that they created an extensive shade range for this foundation. They were nice to send me every shade of this foundation when they first released it, and I think I had counted almost 50 different shades. So props to them for the inclusivity. Now I'm going to use the contour cream from Huda Beauty in the shade medium to start defining the features of Jalisa's face. I'm starting with applying this product in the cheekbone area and then under the jawline. I forget which exact brush I was using here, but it seems to be some kind of face blending brush or blush brush. And for the under the jawline, you see me kind of pinching this brush, and I'm doing this because I want the contour here to be a bit sharper and not as diffused as the rest of the face. I do this a lot with brushes. I can get away with doing a whole face, including the eyes, using maybe only 5 or 6 brushes. I don't switch out brushes for every little step of the way, or else I'd go through 40 brushes in just one application. So if I'm using a fluffier brush, but I need a more dense, precise application, I'll then pinch the bristles to make it more dense, or I'll flare them out to create the shape I need. I think it has something to do with when I first started playing with makeup, because I didn't have all the money in the world to spend on brushes at that time and all these things. So it's made me super resourceful, and it's just stuck with me ever since. So as you see, I'm taking the back of my beauty blender and beginning to buff everything out. I'm using a really soft hand doing this because I'm slowly kind of forming the shape that I want that cream contour to take. When contouring with a round face shape, most of the contour you're going to want to focus is on the outer perimeter of the cheeks and under the jawline and chin, because that's where we want to give the illusion there are shadows. And for the nose, I'm rolling that product inwards because I don't want the contour to be buffed in towards the under eyes. We want to keep that area bright. And speaking of bright, I'm using the Kevyn Aucoin Sensual Skin Enhancer in shade SX08 to brighten and conceal the under eyes. I'm applying this starting from the inner corner of the eye and working my way up and outwards. You can see here that I'm using my little trick by following the bottom lash line upwards towards the hairline. Now, if you're somebody who struggles with where to place your concealer to give that lifted cheekbone look, all you have to do is follow that imaginary line from your lash line and bring it straight up and out. This is the same line that I'll be using later on as a blueprint for the application when I'm placing my baking powder, eyeshadows, and eyeliner. I'm also using a little bit of this concealer to brighten the center of the forehead, the nose, the cupid's bow, and chin. Then with the pointy end of the beauty blender, I'm beginning to softly blend and diffuse everything out. Now our model is already gorgeous without the makeup and has beautiful skin, but I still tend to use full coverage for on-camera makeup looks. As I've said in the past, makeup reads differently on camera than it does in person, but mark my words, if you are in the market for a new concealer that is full coverage, it doesn't get better than this concealer, I promise you. I've used it before on my channel and I noticed a few comments regarding how pricey it is. So I rang up some numbers and did the comparison. It's $48 at Sephora, which is only like $10 or so more than another mainstream brand concealer. And those only last me 2 or 3 months at most. My personal Kevyn Aucoin concealer has lasted me over at least a year, and I still have half of it left. A little goes such a long way. Okay, with the setting powder from Anastasia Beverly Hills in the shade Deep Peach, I'm gonna set the face. With my powder puff, I'm pressing this product into the under eye area. I usually begin with this under eye area when setting the face because it's that area that's most likely to crease the quickest. If you do experience your concealer creasing, be sure to blend that out before you set it with powder. For the most part, I'm setting the areas that we had used the concealer in with a powder puff, and then for the rest of the face, I'm using a large fluffy face brush, and I'm going to be pretty generous with this powder. If you don't set your liquids and creams before applying the bronzer, your bronzer will end up skipping and then looking patchy. For bronzer, I'm using the contour and highlight palette from NYX Cosmetics to reinforce the cream contour that we had just done a minute ago. I'm using a very sparse brush to do this because I'm not looking to add on a lot of this product. Sometimes after setting the face, we can lose a bit of that richness from the cream contour, so I'm just using this palette to add back a bit of that contrast. Now here is where it gets fun. We're gonna start the baking process. With that same Anastasia Beverly Hills setting powder I used earlier, we're gonna begin baking the jawline. I'm pinching my powder puff, as you can see, to get a sharper edge, and I'm running this powder parallel to the cheekbone contour, just barely underneath it. And I'm being sure not to drag this powder onto the jawline contour, otherwise that just defeats the whole purpose. I'm then applying it to the center of the chin and the center of the forehead, in the same exact areas we had applied the concealer. For the under eyes, notice how I'm following that same imaginary lash line that we had used earlier. I'm telling you, once you've created that blueprint with the concealer, it makes all the steps after that foolproof. And I'm bringing that powder right up to the contour of the nose. For the actual powder I used on the center of the nose, I have no idea what it was. I accidentally dipped into it instead of the Anastasia powder, but I figured I'd just roll with it. It's not gonna make or break the look. To set the eyelids, I'm taking a fluffy eyeshadow brush with our setting powder and brushing that onto the lids. And then dip it into the bronzer from the NYX Cosmetics palette that we had used on the face. I'm really starting to work that bronzer into the crease, the outer corner of the eye, and up towards the nose bridge. Next, I'm taking a brown eyeshadow to start mapping out the eye shape I want to create. I used a random brown eyeshadow that I had in a Z palette, but you can use any brown that you'd like. I only ended up using 2 eyeshadows for this complete eye look that we created, which was a brown and a black. I really had no idea, guys, what kind of look I wanted to do on our model. So the footage you're watching right now, I was just as clueless then doing the makeup as you are watching this right now. I'm basically placing the brown eyeshadow in the crease, buffing and blending that outwards, and then graduate to the black eyeshadow. And this is where things started to come together, and I realized that, okay, I guess we're gonna end up doing a double wing today. And while this eye makeup look may not be for everyone, Jalisa can handle it. She's a makeup artist, she loves the full glam, and she has great eyes to do this exotic look on. And now I'm taking some of our setting powder to brighten up the inner corner of the lid directly under that black eyeshadow. And with this Inglot black gel liner, I'm going to add our wing liner with an angled liner brush, starting from the inner corner and working my way outwards. Oh my goodness. I don't know why I feel like holding my breath watching this. I have the shakiest hands, and watching myself do liner is complete torture because I know in this moment, I was having full-blown hot flashes. I was so nervous. Can anyone relate? Oh, also notice here how I'm taking my thumb and dragging out that liner. I love doing this because it gives me the most perfectly diffused wing. I then got too confident with it, added more liner, and then that just escalated this whole look from soft glam to full beat, which I'm not mad at. Everything worked out. I'm also placing just the smallest amount of the gel just right there in the crease. You can definitely add more if you want a really deep black crease, but it just wasn't a part of my plot line today. Here I'm using a dense angled blending brush to stamp black eyeshadow onto the gel liner and then dragging it upwards, which will in return give us a really beautiful and diffused effect. For the inner waterline, I'm using the MAC Studio NC15 NW20 chromographic pencil. It's been a while since I've used a nude pencil in the waterline, but I figured today, let's just have fun, let's go for it, let's switch it up a bit, and I'm glad I did because it really opened up her eye. And once we have that placed, I'm returning to my black eyeshadow and placing that directly underneath our nude pencil, and I'm using a detailing brush to do so. A lot of this footage is a tad repetitive with the blending, but it just goes to show that even if you use the simplest amount of products, like only 2 eyeshadows, it's the technique used that really pulls this complete and final look together. And even the eyeshadow, I'm not using a ton of. You can see there's no fallout that's happening. I'm just using a very small amount of that eyeshadow on the tip of this brush, and I'm letting all that do the work for me. I wanted to step it up one more notch, so I'm adding the Urban Decay glitter eyeliner in shade Midnight Cowboy just to the inner half of the crease. I didn't want to go overboard with this, so I kept it pretty simple yet effective. With the brow definer in shade Medium Brown by Anastasia Beverly Hills, I'm going to begin filling in the brows as I wait for the lash glue to dry. I completed the other eye and lashes off camera, but the lashes I used are actually from Jalisa's own lash brand called Shady Lash. So I'll be sure to tag their Instagram down below so you can check out and shop all of the styles she has. And once I've shaped the brows the way I want them, I'm taking a clean detail brush to blend forward the pigment from the brow pencil. Then with my Too Faced mascara, I'm coating the lashes. Notice how I'm using my left thumb on top and the mascara wand from underneath to really press her natural lashes together with the false lashes. Makeup artists out there, don't be afraid to get in there and get down and dirty with the mascara. Nothing makes me cringe more than seeing a gap between someone's natural lashes and their strip lash, and that can all be prevented by doing this. I also ran this mascara through her bottom lashes, which are itty bitty, so I figured if we're gonna go glam with this look, then we're going glam. So I threw on some bottom lashes off camera from Tati Lashes, and they looked so good. I'll be sure to include the link down below too for the Tati Lashes. And if you want, I'll create a video one of these days showing you how I apply individual lashes. But now that we have the eyes done, I'm wiping off the remaining baking powder we have with a large fluffy face brush. I'm not adding anything on with the brush, I'm just simply wiping off the excess powder. To add color to the cheeks, I'm using this blush from Laura Mercier in the shade Peach. I've used this before in the past, you guys know how much I enjoy using this product. It's a beautiful shade, especially on a deeper complexion, and I'm just applying this to the apples of the cheeks. And then with my Soho highlighter from Ofra Cosmetics, I'm highlighting the high points of her cheekbones to bring a little glow back to the skin. I'm also using this highlighter down the center of the nose and her cupid's bow. Moving on to the lips, I'm using a lip liner from KKW Beauty in the shade Nude 3, and I'm placing this product starting from the corners and working my way on up to the cupid's bow. This is also such a beautiful shade on a deeper skin tone. I kind of wanted this nude lip to be moody and model-esque, so the 90s definitely inspired me for this. While I'm using the lip liner to line the border of the lips, I'm keeping the center bare for another shade we'll be using. Once we have the lips lined and contoured, I'm going in with a matte liquid lipstick from Kylie Cosmetics in the shade Exposed to place right in the center. This is another product I often use. You guys already know I'm not the biggest fan of a matte lip, but this is a great peachy nude base to use before placing a gloss on top. I apply it with a lip brush in the center, diffuse it outwards with my finger, and it gives the most stunning ombre nude lip. And if there's an area where I need to add back a bit more of that dimension, then I'll go back in with a lip liner. And for gloss, I'm using a KKW Beauty gloss in the shade Proud of You. This is also a peachy shade, so it's going to really tie the liner and lipstick together. For the top lip, try to bring the gloss right up to the border of the lipstick, if not a little bit further, because that's what the light is really going to catch on to and make your lips look super juicy. And finally, you guys, for the last step, I'm using Huda Beauty's Hydrating Mist Glow Cocoa to set the face. And in case you forgot, that's how we took this natural beauty from this and turned her into a supermodel. There we have it, kids. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel. I know you want to. Also, if you want to check out more of my work, you can do so at my Instagram at PAINTEDBYSPENCER. And until next time, I'll see you soon.